G'day guys, Cam back here in the Battler Workshop. Well, it's been over 3 months since I've been in the shop. I have done some small little jobs for mates, but nothing of any significance. And the reason for that being is that I've been on a very, very long and stressful shutdown, or turnaround as it's known in the oil and gas industry. And it was a bitumen plant, and an awful lot of work had to be done, and a lot of discoveries were made during that period that they had to be rectified within that same timeline. So extremely busy, and the swings were pretty arduous too. 13 days on, 1 day off, and they were 13-14 hour days for supervision. Very, very long. After hours keeping up with all the compliance paperwork, pre-weld, post-weld, all the weld maps, all the talks on every bit of gear we touched, all the administration that goes with that, the flawless charts. There's an awful lot of behind the scenes work that happens off plot that needs to be dealt with as part of that compliance to be handed back to the client. That he knows he's getting a quality piece of gear back when we've completed the work. And speaking of work, you don't get that sort of work done that we had to do without a very, very talented group of tradesmen. And the guys that I had working with me were absolutely brilliant. My boilermakers, pipeline welders, the fitters, the riggers, the scaffolders, how they do that work to get access to those places that you think is impossible. The cranies, 200 tonne crane on my particular site, on one side, and I think we had a 120 on the other side, and the front ferrying gear in and out as we needed it. What those guys do is incredible, and watching good riggers at work getting gear out of places is an absolute joy to watch. So I was very blessed to have a really, really talented crew with me, and it made all the difference. Yeah, it's good to be back to normal. I'm back on my jetty. We're trying to get the crews back together again and get all their gear back together again, and try and get our integrity program up and running again. So it's good to take a bit of a breath and relax just a little bit anyway. As I said, here in the workshop I've done very little. It's an absolute mess in here at the moment. I've got stuff everywhere, particularly when I purchased that new milling machine. But I had started some work on the tool accessory caddy, so we'll go and have a look at that. The idea is to get all the gear that I've got on the floor up off the floor and into this caddy and start giving me a little bit of room back. So we might go and have a quick look at that. I've done some stuff on the bill, but nothing major, so I think we'll just have a look at where we're at with it at the moment and what's left to go on it. And I'll show you what we're doing there. Next job on this is to build a small crane that we're going to mount on the table of the milling machine to actually winch the gear off the caddy and up into place onto the milling machine, up into the milling machine head and also onto the table with some of the gear. So that's a lot of stuff that I've designed in the past, where I've done a lot of crane designs, specific lifting gear designs, so sort of in my genre. So I enjoy that sort of work. But let's get across. We'll have a look at this caddy, and we'll see how this all works, because it's got some unusual features in it. Alright guys, let's get over. Hey guys, just before we head across to the tool caddy that we've put together, I just want to give a shout out to one of our fellow YouTubers here in Australia, and that's Matty from Matty's Workshop, and Matty's just cracked the 1,000 subscribers, and it's great to see people reach their goals. And you don't reach a goal like that unless you've actually got something to offer in this space. And Matty, the stuff that you've been doing, where you started to where you are now, and that boring head you put together is absolutely brilliant. So congratulations, and I'm very envious of that big Cincinnati milling machine you got, mate. That's going to be a wonderful piece of kit. And it's great to see the kids out giving you a chance, a chop out cleaning it down. I wish I could get my kids out to do mine, but I don't think it's going to happen. So really looking forward to some of the projects that come off that milling machine, Matty. I'll leave a link to Matty's channel down in the description, so please get across, have a look at what he's doing, and subscribe. Alright guys, let's go and see what I'm up to. Alright guys, this is where we're at with this caddy. It's looking more like a woodworking shop in here at the moment than a metal working shop, but anyway. Right, I've got a side drawer on this unit. Coming around the front, we've got 2 front drawers, and up the top we've got a table. So the plan is that I'm going to cover this with insertion rubber. The drawers, when we open them up, I'm going to have insertion rubber put inside those. So we've got these two drawers here. Bit hard to open at the moment without a handle, but there we go. And they're quite deep drawers, those ones. I think they run around about 900 deep. So we can put a lot of gear, ancillary gear, into those cupboards. Down the bottom here, plan is the slotting head or dividing head can go in here as well, with all the arbor supports and a lot of the ancillary gear. The tailstock gear can all fit down inside here. A lot of the other gear, a lot of the heads that I've got can sit up top here. A whole lot's on casters that I can wheel around. I've got to put a handle off here so I can pull the thing around and get it into place. And the idea is, as I said, that I can use a crane to come down, pick up the gear, use the crane to come down here, pick up the gear out of these drawers down the bottom here, and then get it either mounted up onto the head or onto the tail, which is just absolutely chock-a-block full of rubbish at the moment. We can also set up and hang gear off the side here as well, and also off the front. So lots of areas for hanging spanners and shifters and the T-slot nuts. A little caddy for that. So it's slowly coming together. This has all been made out of recycled materials, I guess. This used to be the wall that I had up here, the dividing wall. So I've purchased the casters and some of the steelwork I've purchased, but just about everything else I've done has been just recycled. So it's been done fairly cheaply. I am going to put a bit of bling on this. I'm going to put some pine end plates on the drawers so that they'll look quite nice. Make it look like a bit of furniture, I guess. I'm going to paint this all in machinery grey as well. So that's where we're at. I'm hoping in the next day or two I can get this finished off, and I can get all this gear that's sitting on the floor and get it up into that caddy so that I can get some space back. Alright guys, we'll come back when this is all finished and all loaded up, I guess. And then we'll start back on with some workshop work. And as I said, the first thing we're going to do is that little crane. Once I've got the crane done, the plan is I can start stripping this down and giving the whole thing a birthday. So probably hasn't been stripped down in the 70 years it's been alive, so we'll strip it down and we'll see how it's all looking. At the moment, all the functions operate on this. Everything's as tight as a button on this. There's no backlash, so I'm expecting nothing major out of this, but you never know. Anyway, it'll be an interesting process stripping this down, and we'll have a look at trying to give the whole thing a coat, new paint job as well, just see how keen I actually get. Alright guys, well, it's good to be back. I haven't fallen off the face of the earth, so we'll be back very, very soon. Alright guys, we'll see you soon.